ladies and gentlemen. What it do, y'all? This your boy King Eric the Great coming at y'all with another episode of Off the Cuff Radio. I'm not a bit happy right now because we're going through technical difficulties once again with Blog Talk Radio. For some strange reason, I'm not able to get my callers to go through, but we're going to try the best that we can tonight to make sure these interviews go through proper. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring on OG Cuicide, and we're going to try to conduct this interview via speaker. So bear with me on this one here. I apologize for everyone that's tuned in and want to hear a solid interview, but these technical difficulties has been acting up with Blog Talk for the past 2 months. We're on the verge of finding another home. I apologize to you guys. So we're going to try to make it do what it do. We're going to try to bring on OG Cuicide right now. I don't know if we're going to have the Black Shark interview. We're going to try to make that happen. So just bear with me. So I'm going to bring on OG Cuicide right now. What's up, brother? Hold on 1 second. About to bring you on. I think I can hear you now. Okay, man. I apologize for you, man. We've been going through these technical difficulties with Blog Talk for about a good month, and he's still not getting the issues done. But we're gonna do the best we can here.
Oh yeah, it's all good. It's all good. The main thing, don't panic.
That's right, man. I want to welcome you onto the show, man. I see you making a lot of positive moves out there. 2020 with your new single, man. It's pretty hot. Tell us about it, man. What made you want to go through with that route?
As far as what?
Your new single, in terms of, putting positive messages out there, because it's easy in this industry to pretty much just go with the flow, but you're going the opposite.
I'm too old to go with the flow. I'm from the old school. I'm 50 years old, so I'm a suicide survivor, so, when you reach, that age, my age bracket, man, if you ain't putting nothing out positive to uplift people and educate people, man, then you're still a child in the mind. So that's what my music is geared towards, uplifting people, man, and empowering people, encouraging people, letting people know, man, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, life gets better, just never give up. So that's what my whole album, OGs Are Forever, is about. It represents for the OGs, man, but the OGs that's teaching the young people to do better, not do worse.
Exactly, man, and that's a message that's needed, considering a lot of things that's happening in today's world. 2020 is starting off pretty crazy.
Yes, it is. It really is, man, and it's gonna get crazier. It's just the beginning.
It's like a roller coaster ride. It felt like a whole year just went by in January, and it's just February.
Yeah, exactly. It's still early. Mm-hmm.
So, going into your background and giving people a familiarize of who you are and where you're from, like, I want to start off with what musicians inspired your craft?
With me, I was never inspired by, any musicians. My inspiration was my OGs, growing up in Compton, California, man. Them was the cats that inspired me. My OGs that was doing something with themselves, really making moves, man, to better their life. But the first person to ever put me in a studio, rest in peace, is the bro Mixmaster Spade, and that's back in 1987.
That's what's up, man. We like to get people familiarized with inspirations because it shows people who inspires people to make the best music. And looking at your background, everything, you've been putting a lot of solid work in. And one other question I want to ask you is about growing up in Compton during that time when you was coming up, man, in comparison to how it is now. Like, do you see a total difference?
I mean, where it's lack of guidance. You know, when we was coming up, you know, I was born in '69, so in the '70s and the '80s and the '90s, it was different. It was more structure. You know, it's more structure, and it was, you know, it was when we was coming up, man. Just like the music game. The music game has went from drug dealing to drug using. You know, when we was coming up in the '80s and '90s doing music, we was hustlers. We was out on the block getting money. You know, now, you know, a lot of the cats in these days, man, they getting the money, but they blowing it on, you know, things that'll destroy them. So it's a big difference. You know, now, you know, a lot of the cats in these days, man, they getting the money, but they blowing it on, you know, things.
Yeah, we're trying to get everything on double speaker, brother, so, you know, just working things out.
You know, a lot of the cats in these days, man, they getting the money.
But yeah, man, this is okay. I'm here now. So, and coming up with those days of growing up in Compton, man, and seeing a lot of guys like Eazy E, Dr. Dre, NWA, all those people coming through as a renaissance of that movement. How that make you feel being a part of that, you know, legacy in Compton?
Well, I was finna sign with Eazy before Eazy died. You know, I know Eazy, though, Dre, and all them cats personally. You know, back, you know, before Eazy was doing music, you know, when Dre was with World Class Wrecking Crew with Lonzo. So, I mean, most definitely, you know what I mean, what Eazy did, you know, for the city, man, is took it to the next level. But also, man, there was cats that, you know, like Mixmaster Spade and Tidy T and, you know, Mixmaster Ken. These are cats, man, that didn't get mentioned that should always get mentioned anytime you bring up Compton, because Tidy T was one that put out the song The Battle Round. Because in the 80s, you know, the Battle Round was really running and, you know, knocking holes in homes, you know, raiding houses. And, you know, Mixmaster Spade, Tidy T, and them cats, you know, they had songs on the radio back then. And Mixmaster Ken, he was underground rapper, but, you know, them cats, man, was like some of the first to hit the radio. And then Eazy pretty much took it to a whole nother level. You know, he did, most definite.
Yeah, man, I'm going to tell you, man, Eazy's imprint in the game is very overlooked. Like, people don't realize that he was the first guy to come off the block and have an independent label, and also got into the radio business. Like, before, now you see all these artists doing radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a
lot of cats doing radio.
A lot of rappers doing radio, but that was unknown at that time, and that just shows
he had the Ruthless Radio Show. We used to all be up there hanging out.
Yeah.
On the air. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eazy brought in podcasting before podcasting. That just shows you right there how ahead of the time he was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was smart. Smart dude, man. Very smart.
And the only thing I didn't like about the NWA movie, I thought it was an overall good portrayal because they had the nice little budget. They should have showed Eazy going to the White House. That would have been like, that was a pivotal moment in hip hop. He was
the first I'm from Compton, born and raised. There was a lot of false shit in that.
Mm-hmm.
In that movie, you know, me being from Compton, knowing the real history behind, you know, NWA getting started and everything, man. It was a lot of false content in that movie, man. It really was.
Yeah, and you know what though? It was like, for a big budget, it looked great. And I always said this about the movie, because we interviewed many people about the movie, that for years it looked good, it was acted good, but being that we followed up the history and we were like hip-hop historians, we know what was true and what wasn't.
Yeah, I most definitely knew what was true and wasn't. I'm, like I said, Compton, born and raised. I really was in the trenches, you know, growing up in Compton, most definite. So I sit and watch the movie, and so wow, it's a lot of, you know, like I said, man, you can never make a movie about Compton, man, and nothing in the world.
Yeah, because it took like a team effort to get all that together. Like a lot of people played a role in making NWA what it was.
Yeah.
And definitely you too, man, because you was a pivotal point of the West Coast movement. And I want to talk to you about this, man. That first album that you dropped in 1995, man. Like, what was the feeling like when you dropped your first album? That's like your baby.
Yeah, I was 25 years old too, man. Still out in the streets, gang banging, and when that album came out, man, thank God to my godfather, Leon Haywood, the great Leon Haywood, rest in peace, man. That's who, took me under the wing in '93 and opened the studio up to me and allowed me to go in there, man, and do what I do, man. He brought some of the coldest cats, that was in the game, to play my first album. Everything on there was live instruments. So that's why that album will always be a classic. The drums, even back then, they was doing, we was doing the claps, with you actually went in the vocal booth and literally clapped, the sounds and everything, the bass and the guitar, the drums, everything about that whole album was played.
You know what, though, because before we bring on guests, I usually like to listen to the material before before we interview them, because I get a good idea on how to build with you. And see, around that time, '95, everybody was focusing on the funk beats and Zap samples. You came through in the mix using live instruments and yes. I mean, my godfather, man, Leon Haywood. That's who I had behind me, the great Leon Haywood. So it's. It's like working with him, man. He, showed me how to, I don't try to copy and reinvent or recreate what others is doing, man. I think out the box. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what I did. I said, my boy would make the beat. My boy Lee would make the beat, but we would have musicians actually come in there and play everything. Like, I need these drums live. I need these strings. I need Anthony to come in here and actually play this, the bass guitar, everything. Everybody came in there, man, and played all those instruments live on that album. And that album right now today, it came out in '95, and right now to this day, man, I got people from overseas, from all around the world that be reaching out to me, offering me $500 or $600 for a cassette tape for that album, because that album is so rare and man, can never be, reinvented, recopied, or anything. That album is still a classic. And tell me about that overseas love, man, because we interviewed a lot of artists, and they talk about the people overseas have a great understanding of what the culture is, more so in the States, sadly.
They understand the culture, but what they understand most of all is business. You got people, you put out music, you got people, they won't support you during the time of you doing the footwork. But when you become successful, then everybody knows you. When you die, everybody was your best friend. And it's crazy, it's like that in this world. But overseas, they don't want nothing for free, family. They want to buy your music. They want to buy it. If you got it on CD, they want to buy it. They want to buy your merchandise. They really want to support you. Like, the support overseas is impeccable compared to out here. Sometimes in the States, people will feel like, okay, you pressed up the album, CD. Some people feel like you should give them one. And I don't get it. When they're standing in line for people to buy people's CDs that they don't know and never met. They'll be quick to support people that they don't know and never met, but when it comes to somebody they know, they feel like they're not really obligated to support them or show support. And we live in a time where a lot of people are backwards. So with me and my music, since '93, overseas has always been my focus. That's where I focus at.
Mhm. And we built.
And I've toured there.
Like, what was some of the countries that showed you the most love?
The most love, Japan, Australia, France, London, Russia, Switzerland, Germany. Like, them are the ones, man, and even the UK family. Like I say, since '93, man, they've been faithful fans. Faithfully fans since 1993.
And it's interesting that you bring up business. And I want to ask you this question here, and I want to know if this is true here. Is it true that you turned down a $350K deal from Priority?
Yeah, I turned that deal down because I was working with, in '99. I was working with my bros, man, Big Jess and Drew. They're from LA. Mafia for Life. It was the label, the production company, Executive Entertainment. And Big Jess had just got incarcerated. So a lot of the other artists had jumped ships. When Jess pretty much got locked up, everybody started leaving. I guess they threw in the towel and feel like, okay, it was over. Me, man, I really come from the street, so loyalty means the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
And just locked up, facing a lot of time. I'm not finna just jump ships on bro like that, man. So I stayed and held the studio down until we pretty much had to close the doors on it because, Jess had got time and didn't come home. So I stayed, but during that process, Jess, from being locked up, we were still pushing the label. I went on tour while Big Jess was still locked up. I went to Japan while he was locked up. So Priority had wanted to sign me. And Big Jess had got at me, was like, little bruh, man, I talked to Marv at Priority, man, and, they like the album, man, and, they down to give you $350,000. He like, me, bro, I ain't tripping, man, if, that's what you want to do. I ain't tripping because I understand. I said, nah, bro, I'm cool, man. I'm going to keep pushing right here, my nigga, until I can't push no more. And, that's what I did, and we eventually had to close the studio down. And then I started pushing, my Cytle Gang movement. And in '04, I grabbed a bunch of young cats out my hood and, was helping them cats do music, investing in them, putting them in the studio, making sure they record the songs was right. We put out a couple mixtapes, pressed up a couple albums on them, and the loyalty wasn't there, So I pretty much I got back to just focusing on me, man. Well, my whole career, a lot of OGs in my neighborhood used to always get at me about always trying to look out for everybody else more than I looked out for myself. But I've always wanted to be them ones that was more like we all could get on together. But in reality, it really don't work like that. You can't put 40 people on at the same time if everybody don't have the right frame of mind and the same vision that you have. So you have to get out there and make it happen and help the ones you can, and then let them help others. Because you can't save everybody, and that was always my thing with my career. What I went through and who I am made me who I am today, so I have no regrets. But sitting back looking, I did waste a lot of time trying to help the wrong people. And that time, you can lose your house, you can get it back. You can be rich and go broke, you can get it back. You can get a brand new car and then something happened and you got to get rid of it and you can get another one, you can get it back. But when it comes to time, you can't get time back, family. When it's gone, it's gone. And it took me a long time to learn that. So I went on ahead and focused on me and started doing a bunch of music and putting more music out because my fans that I've been had for the longest was wondering, what the hell is going on? Why he's not putting out music? Okay, you're featuring on these albums. Y'all putting out these compilations and you're featuring on these albums. You're helping, your camp. but we want some OG Suicide music. So that's what led me back to doing music, and that's what brought me back to the OGs Are Forever album, because no matter what, man, OGs are forever.
The legacy never dies, man, and this one goes to show you right there that when you put out timeless music and your character as well being solid, it never dies at all.
At all. At all.
And you know what's interesting about your music is that it tackles a real deep issue that's going on within the black community, and that's mental health.
Yes. But people try to overlook it or kick it under the rug. I mean, come on, man. We have kids committing suicide. So, I mean, that's not a problem. That's not an issue. But people don't look at it as an issue. Come on, you got kids 7 years old, 8 years old, being cyberbullied or being bullied in life at school, and they want to commit suicide, and they're trying to. Some have. You know, I've seen a story where a 7-year-old committed suicide for being bullied. You know, and nobody's doing nothing about it, man. They're kicking it under the rug, which there is hope. I've talked people out of committing suicide multiple times. So many people from all around the world have heard my story or seen my interviews and read my story, and they look and say, wow, here is somebody that I could really reach out to that will understand me. Because back when I was feeling suicidal when I was 22, I was a gunner from the hood. I was a well-respected person in the streets. So for me to get at the older homies and say, you know, oh man, I feel like killing myself, they wouldn't understand it. So I kept it bottled up until you too much pressure to bust a pipe, and that's what happened. December the 31st, 1991, I actually put a gun to my head and shot myself in the head. God spared my life. It wasn't my time to go. So I dedicated, you know, my life from there on, you know, to really speaking about where I come from in these streets and letting people know there is hope. There is a way. You can make it. I mean, I got people that hits me up, family, from where it's bad at, like Haiti, Nigeria, you know, all around the world, man, people in Russia, you know, this all around the globe, family, that reach out to me and tell me how my music makes them want to continue on, how my music gives them hope and give them life, because they have been on the dark side and have committed and wanted to commit suicide. And what really made me start pushing the suicide prevention, I tried to volunteer for a suicide hotline before. And they said, yeah, okay, most definitely, we would love to have you. You know, we heard your story. It's going to cost you $150, though, for us to train you. You're going to need, like, 2 classes, so it'll be like $300, you know, for 2 classes. I said, to train me? Like, to train me in what? I'm self-experienced. I could train y'all about suicide. So from there, I started giving out my personal phone number. That's why on all my social media, my personal phone number is on there. The number I'm talking to y'all on right now, that I've been at this number for 17 years. And another thing that really pissed me off is I contacted the news before, you know, the Channel 5 News, and I spoke to a person about who I was and what I've been through and my life experiences and how I'm trying to make a change in the world for the better for our young people and just for people in life. And the dude told me, man, I couldn't believe it. I was blew away. He said, yeah, we get it, you know, about what you're saying, but, you know, to us, it's not actually news until after it happens. Saving a life ain't news, but somebody committing suicide is news. That's ratings.
It tees on to that controversy because people love chaos.
Yeah, and I told dude, I said, if I was standing in front of you right now, I'd knock every tooth out your mouth. Because you just disrespected everybody breathing. With that, saying that, it's not news until after it happened. So y'all don't want to save a life? Y'all would rather people die than live? So that's what made me be the face of suicide prevention, family. That's why I push so hard, man, and I push my music so hard to get it out there, man, to help people, let them know, okay, you're going through something now, but every storm shall pass. I'm living proof life get better. Not in a million years, man, would I have ever thought my life would get to the point to where it's at now, where I have no worries, man. No worries, family.
And you know what? During that time you was coming up around, I noticed in the 90s as well, around the time when you dropped your album, hip-hop started changing to where artists started becoming more vulnerable. They started showcasing more of their vulnerabilities because you listen to Big, he dropped Suicidal Thoughts, and you listen to Pac, he came with Me Against the World, which is a real personal album, and your album as well. You start seeing the shift of black men showcasing their vulnerabilities more.
Yes. Yes. But in this music game, education is dangerous. Knowledge is dangerous. You know, spreading knowledge, man, is dangerous, man. It makes some people turn their face up to you because they don't want you to educate nobody.
That's the danger of the microphone.
You're damn right.
Now, my host that's on QT Max, he wanted to ask you, how does it feel about being an inspiration to helping black people having a voice about their inner turmoil and addressing mental in the hood?
One more time, say it again, please.
Yeah, he wanted to know how does it feel about being an inspiration to helping black people having a voice about their inner turmoil and addressing mental issues in the hood.
I mean, it feels good because coming up, growing up in Compton, you know, once upon a time I used to be, you know, a very negative person, you know, in my gangbanging days. So now it's a difference. You know, it's a big difference. And to be able to help people and talk to people and educate them, man, it feels good. It really feels good, man, and I'm glad that, you know, I'm that person that's doing it. I really am.
And he has another question, too, to ask you. He wanted to know what was the inspiration for One West Magazine.
One West Magazine, I pretty much created because we didn't have no outlets for a lot of different artists. There's artists in this world that don't have a record deal, that's not signed to a label, but they can't afford to be in the magazines. They can't afford none of those things to really get the exposure that they need without a budget. So creating One West Magazine would give them that outlet, would give them that opportunity to where they can have that same exposure that the other magazines offer, but at a price that's affordable in their reach and not out of their reach.
You know what? And that you raise a valid point about that because we was talking earlier before I got on the phone. I was talking on the phone with one artist about the payola system. Like there's a lot of talent out there, but they got to cut like $50,000 just to put an ad on their music in a magazine. Or in cases to get their radio play, they got to pay at least almost $400,000 to $500,000.
Yeah, it costs to buy airtime. You know, it's just like radio play is just like running a commercial ad, but it costs more because instead of a 30-second slot, you buying a slot of however long the song is. If the song is 3 minutes plus, then you buying a slot for the 3 minutes plus. And who can afford that? The labels with the millions and millions and millions of dollars, not the up-and-coming artists. So people wonder why songs get played on the radio every day, all day. It's because the label has bought up all the airtime. So every now and then they squeeze originally radio was, if the music was good, they gonna put it on the air, man. They gonna give you the spins. Now they give you 1 or 2 spins and that's it. Cause it's a money thing with them.
And we talked earlier about the transition from vinyl to CDs to cassettes to now streaming. What are your thoughts about the streaming era that we're currently in? Do you feel that's better and get your music out there versus how it was before with cassettes and CDs?
Well, you can get it out there faster, but overseas, it's still CDs, it's still cassette tapes, it's still 12-inch, and it's going to still be that for another 20, 30 years. It's not going nowhere overseas, but in the States, it's good. The digital world is good because you can get it there faster. A person can't afford a CD, but they can afford to pay $2.99 on Spotify and listen to every album on Spotify that they want to and pay that monthly fee and listen to all the albums. So they wanted to, pretty much boycott CDs, take the physical away and create this digital world. They've been working on creating the digital world, man, since the old game that they used to have in the video game stores way back in the days, which was a virtual game. So digital been a plan for a long time.
And you know what? They was even preparing us for the digital age. If you go back to like the old movies like Total Recall and Terminator and even The Matrix for that matter, they was preparing this like 20, 30 years ahead.
Exactly. Sure was. Just like cars that's invented. They've been at the blueprint for the cars that you see. They've been at the blueprints for these cars. They just put them out, in timely matters.
And my only disappointment is, and this is me being a little bit funny, but we was growing up looking at the Jetsons, and we were thinking we would get flying cars and all that stuff. We ain't seen one damn flying car yet.
It ain't too late. Eventually, I guarantee you they got them. But they can't just throw them out there like that because there's going to have to be rules and regulations due to airplanes, small planes and big planes.
Yeah, they gotta do it. Yeah, they gotta do it in a way where they gotta numb the people for the shock factor, because if people will bug out right now if they start seeing a flying car right now. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna probably do it. They'll probably do it through a movie, or they'll show it like a football player in a commercial doing it, so they can normalize it.
Well, they have like the car shows where you can actually come to the car show and see what's the next car, the 2045 car that's coming out, and actual flying mobile. Because the first people gonna have them are millionaires. You know that.
Oh yeah.
It'll be a while before people that can't afford it have it. So it's gonna start with the rich people.
Then you're gonna start seeing hip hoppers do it, and that's where everybody's gonna follow the trend.
Exactly.
So we moving on to 2020, man. The year is still young. What do you have in store? Like, you have any albums coming out for 2020?
I got an EP I'm working on called Still Standing. Because through everything that I've been through, just like, man, coming up from Compton, if you made it in the 80s and the 90s and you're still here, it's a blessing. So, still standing through everything I've been through. And all my accomplishments and falls that I took, I'm still standing. So that's the name of the EP that I'm working on.
Yes, indeed. And you notice a lot of people are going back to the EPs, because the EPs sometimes dealing with the masses that can't digest full LPs no more. It's a currently new era.
Yep. Because people focus on one song. So a full album, it'd be too much for them. But, get 7 solid, strong songs, then, oh, yeah, they influence that.
Yeah, you got to give them a half course meal before you give them the full steak dinner.
Yep, you have to.
And then going in as we about to, close this thing up because we got to go into the second hour. You have any shout-outs you want to give out, bro?
Man, I just want to give a shout-out to the world, family. To everybody, man, that, that's living, family. All around the globe, man. I hope nothing but the best for everybody. People I know, people I don't know, and people that I'll never meet.
Definitely, man. I mean, we had to be creative in trying to get this interview off the top, cause it was like, man, we're gonna reach the plan B and C. I'm gonna figure something out, damn, because we been promoting this all week, and we're like, no, we ain't going out like this.
Never give up. That's my motto. Never give up.
And we found ways to do it. So hopefully you could definitely come back when you release your EP. And we're going to have all our kinks done. Hopefully we'll have a new home. Everything is going to be much better furniture.
Man, anytime, family. Anytime.
So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let you go right now. I know you got some things to take care of. The Super Bowl is still on. Or you probably got some...
Yeah, I'm not tripping. My Cowboys ain't playing, so I'm not tripping.
As a Panther guy, we won't even sniffing the chip.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, we appreciate you joining us, man, and you're welcome to definitely come on, brother.
Okay, appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate y'all. Anytime, just let me know.
Alrighty then.
Okay, for sure. All right.
Yes, indeed, y'all. That was my man, OG Cuicide. And I got T-Max back on us, man. I apologize.